So this is Leaves of Grass. Leaves of Grass is toning down like the doom scrolling and the World War III and missiles in Gaza and white phosphorus. Saw a picture of a little boy with his abdomen opened up by white phosphorus in Lebanon. So yesterday, in case you haven't seen it, I did a piece where I compared what's going to happen in the Middle East to the Tet Offensive. And then I listened to, and you should too, um, Alon Mizrahi. He is an Arabic Jew, former IDF member. I did not know that. I was very pleased to learn that he's began to follow me this week, and I'm a big fan of his. But within 24 hours, I did my Tet offensive piece because he said, "What's the Tet offensive? What's Tet?" And I said, "Whoa, that calls for a Friday night Tet offensive thing." So if you're, I was born in 70, the Tet Offensive happened in 68. So if you're the generation, if you're a boomer or somewhere in there, you know that like the world changed in 1968. Bobby Kennedy was assassinated, LBJ dropped out. The Beatles were the band at the beginning of the year, and at the end of the year it was Led Zeppelin, right? Everything changed and it all turned right around. Well, let me tell you something, Linda. It ain't nothing to what's going to happen. Iran, and this is what he argues and what I'm arguing as well, Iran is going to take over the Middle East, like all of it. So Leaves of Grass is sort of like after the war kind of a vibe. Like, what do you do after the war? Like, I've spent a lot of time on here telling people that it's going to be like Gone with the Wind, and you're going to go back to Tara and you're going to plant turnips in the front yard. That's what you're going to do. It costs $6 a gallon to fill up this truck. It'll cost my son, I just picked up my son. He's a truck driver. He's the one that went to ranger school, and he's going to probably start farming with us next week or next week, next year. We have no clarity on like what the price of fertilizer is, what the price of hauling is, what the trucking is a big part of agriculture. This whole thing that you're hearing on television, like we bomb you and then you have to negotiate with us. That's gangsterism. Trump is a gangster. Lutnick is a gangster. Epstein is a gangster. Wexner is these are all America's being run by gangsters. And I won't go through the whole thing again, but Mizrahi does a nice job of saying white people can't believe that there's a nation that's more powerful than them. But Iran is more powerful than us in the Middle East right now. They say that over the last month, 50 Israeli tanks have been destroyed by Hezbollah. Okay, so let's all be friends and calm down a little bit. So what do we do after this? What does this look like afterwards? I don't think the NASDAQ is part of your life. It's even on Bloomberg, they're starting to be like, what is the visibility of OpenAI? What's the visibility of Microsoft? What's the visibility of Facebook? What is Facebook's AI strategy? Is AI even really an economic thing? Of course, I'm using AI every day, but like, just because you transact something doesn't mean it's a stock that goes up. You know what I mean? So Americans are going to maybe have to deal with $5, $7, $8, or $10 diesel fuel. We may have to deal with lockdowns. We may have to, again, I'm not trying to scare you. This is the reality of what this is. Okay. Like I just sent a picture of a container ship. The containers with all those little things look like Legos. Yeah, there's one of those that's been destroyed in the Straits of Hormuz. It's on fire right now. I sent it to a couple of my friends. I don't have any friends. I sent it to my dad and my sister, but they're my friends. This is real bad, people. The global world that we've grown up in, where the U.S. Navy patrols and everybody can trade and buy oil and liquid natural gas and all that shit, it's over. It just went away in the last month. So, what does like finance look like? What does food look like? What does your living arrangements look like? What do the good part of this is, do we really want to live in this world where, everything in the Oval Office is now covered with fake gold and everybody has 6 surgeries whenever they turn 60 years old because your boobs sag and your face sags? Like, do we even want that anymore? Do we even want that, like, up in the club with a bottle above lifestyle? I don't think so. I think people are worn out on it. People want something else. They want to have more. They want to have more community. They want to have more connection with their kids. There's a lot of people, as you probably know. Do you know anybody whose kids and parents don't talk anymore? I know lots of people like that. I think people underestimate the stress that 25 years of warfare, illegal warfare, all of it is illegal. The Taliban did not drop the Twin Towers. All of the war for the last 25 years is illegal. It's how we prosecuted the Nazis in Nuremberg for illegal, aggressive war. We've been doing this for 25 years. It's over, people. In the next 10 years, I think Saudi Arabia is going to fall. Let's just for 90 seconds. Those states that have made deals, remember the whole like board of peace and all that, they're going to like murder all these Palestinians and like build a Las Vegas on the shore of the Mediterranean. And all of these states, all of these Muslim nations went along with it. And what Mizrahi's saying is Iran's not defensive. Iran is on the offense. And all of these, they can roll up those Gulf states in a weekend. Can you imagine waking up one day and MBS has flown to, I don't know, Vegas or something? That's the king of Saudi Arabia. Can you imagine if the Shia take all the Gulf states? The Houthis go across the desert and march on the Saudis. Hezbollah is 100,000 strong. Hezbollah is like the U.S. Marine Corps. And it's like from here to that horizon on the other ridge away is Lebanon. The Hezbollah is waiting for the Israelis. So so we've done a few things on here, and I've flown around for the last couple of years and met people. I'm not doing that anymore. However, if you'd like to meet me, we could make arrangements. Because I travel, like it's easy for me to get to DC. It's easy for me to get to Chicago. But I'm proud to announce that we have a scope of work with a group in Austin called myTeams. Okay. You can go look it up. And I said, right now, all I need you to do is take over see, what we're doing is fintech, right? It's the technology, basically Ethereum and other things. Just to remind you, the transactions right now between China buying the oil and gas from Iran, most of that clears on Ethereum. They're not paying for it with Ethereum. That's not my point. They're using a stable coin of the Russian ruble to make that transaction. And I'm the guy that told you for 5 years that was going to happen. It's in the Federal Reserve white paper from 2016. A year after Ethereum was created, the Federal Reserve was preparing for Ethereum and things like it to run the banking and investment system. You're welcome. But we have myTeams. myTeams is going to take over this whole thing. Okay. So if I get hit by lightning and you want to be involved in these things, the tokenization of real world assets, the formation of a robo advisor, the whole $100 trillion investment landscape of America is gone. It's gone, people. It's over. The Saudi Arabia falls. There is no market for U.S. Treasuries. I mean, there will be. People will be buying them, and the money will keep swirling around. Look what's happening to. I told you this for the last month. Look what's happening to private credit. This is a big part of private equity. There's private equity, which is equity, and there's private credit. Private credit's over. It's over. There's no more money coming into it. Why? Because there's no money coming out of the Gulf. Private equity as we know it it's over. It's $4.4 trillion. Is it 4.4 trillion of private Yeah. Look at OpenAI. OpenAI did the largest funding round in human history, the largest private equity transaction in human history a month ago. They're raising money again. Probably because they can't deliver. You know what I mean? Like people pledge that they're going to put in this much, and the money's not there. The money that was in the Gulf that's not coming to New York, the money that's in New York is not going to the Silicon Valley. See how this works? So we're going to have an interesting, whether you like investment advisory and wealth management, or you like this idea of the tokenization of real assets, I think we should focus on cattle. It's not that cattle make more money than anything else in the world, but there's $40 trillion of people getting paid 4% on U.S. treasuries, and the price of oil just doubled. In other words, the inflation rate for oil in the last month is 100%. There's no deal. This whole thing that Americans think that Trump is going to bomb a nation and then they're going to make a deal with us. Yeah, that's Hyman Roth from The Godfather. If you think that's going to work, everything's fine. It is going to be like the end of the Confederacy. It's going to be tough, or maybe real tough, or maybe suspended elections and martial law. We're real close to that. If MBS leaves the country, if Saudi Arabia falls and Iran gets control of that oil, I don't even know what you're going to do with your 401k thingy. It doesn't even exist. I mean, Exxon exists and Coca-Cola exists and Walmart exists, but I mean, like these $25 trillion fantasies don't exist anymore. I mean, literally, the president of the United States stood in the Oval Office and said there's $22 trillion coming into AI. It's all fictitious. So myTeams is going to run the whole thing. We need, if you're a subscriber or you're just free on Substack, that's fine. So we're just going to start to drip emails to you. We're not going to spam you. Okay, it's just like, hi, thanks for becoming a free subscriber. We'd like to deliver the token to you. Would you please subscribe? Send us a wallet address and we'll send you the Ethereum token. Just to run the numbers again, if you followed me for a while, I just repeat myself over and over again. We want to get 5,000 subscribers like right away. Oh, by the way, you should know this. The deal is that we will split revenue with them. 10% of all the subscriptions will go to myTeams. Ad infinitum. If there's 100,000 people on there, myTeams is going to get 10% of it. So if you want, we can all fly to Austin and meet the crew. and eat some barbecue and go to the what's the name of that? The not cocktail, the Continental Club, I think it's called. There's a lot of great clubs in Austin. If you want to go to Austin, we could all meet in Austin, meet the crew. But this isn't my thing anymore. Like, we've done all this for you. I want to go read weird books and like continue to like tell the story of what's really happening, because Bloomberg is worthless. CNBC, they're just clueless. I mean, you just listen to the people that come on and they're like, we don't know what's going to happen. They think we're going to bomb our way into a deal. I can tell you this, Linda. If General Marshall were alive today, that's the guy who won World War II, he went to see Truman and he said, if you support this creation of this state of Israel, I will publicly not support you. Remember, Truman was bribed with $2 million. And that was the beginning of the whole thing right there. And now the whole empire is over. General Marshall would go into the Oval Office with a bat and just beat Trump down into the ground with it. It's all lost, people. The whole thing, the U.S. Navy, the big Air Force base in Bahrain, it's all gone. I don't even think we know what's going on. There's 10,000 troops in Iraq. What are we going to do with them? There's 100,000 Shia militia trained by Hezbollah. There's 100,000 Hezbollah in Iraq, just waiting for the call. I won't do that anymore. I'm sorry. So we have a group called myTeams that's going to handle all the tokenization. Okay. What we really want to do is do a Reg A Plus offering. And people are always like, well, what are you going to invest in? Real estate is very, there's a lot of shoes to drop there. The opportunity zones are very, very interesting. I think people will stand back over the next couple of years and go like, well, in a world where everything's inflated, what do you invest in? So there's 1,200 opportunity zones in Minnesota. I just keep talking about Minnesota because it's interesting. Okay, so $1 million, you could just make a land bank. What do you mean make a land? Just go buy everything in the opportunity zone. It's not that much money. 1 million times 1,200. 1 million times 1,200 is $1.2 billion. Sounds like a big number. It's really not. There's all the 401ks in St. Paul and Minneapolis are probably several $100 billion, right? And people are like, well, I don't understand. What? And then you go like, well, do you own junk bonds paying 5%? Junk bonds. Yeah, so? Well, the U.S. Treasuries are soon going to be paying 7.5%. No, they're going to do yield control. Oh, they're going to print money with $150 oil. Oh, that's a great idea. That's what they say, though. That's what Trump and Dissent and Moran and the whole freak show says. What are you getting at? Those junk bonds will eventually be paying 20%, which means they're going to go down 75%, or they're going to go to zero. What? Yeah, the investment grade corporate world right now is like 5%. The 30-year is going to break 5%. There's a thing called a spread. Corporate bonds have to be higher than treasuries. Treasuries are going to keep pushing up and push up their yields, which means you're going to lose money on corporate bonds for like the next 10 to 15 years. No one says that. No one says that. No one on Bloomberg says that. Ray Dalio says that, though. So investing in like this, like back to Terra with the, I know it sounds goofy, with the turnips. That's what you're going to do, people. You know, we're selling lambs for $500. It costs $100 to make them. Like, I mean, it's goofy to say this, but like, my dad has a bigger profit margin than OpenAI. It's funny. Um, you might as well get on with it. You might as well start building the financial infrastructure that takes all this money over here that has no future. It's just meaningless bullshit. $25 trillion with the NASDAQ is all going to be looking for a home. Robo advisor, wealth managers, new, I don't even know what to call them, new fund structures. You're going to need new funds. Like Apollo isn't going to Minnesota to like raise Black Angus cattle, people. They don't know. You can go listen to Bloomberg this week. Every day at 4 o'clock, turn on Bloomberg. They actually joke with each other. They're like, what do we need diesel fuel for? None of these people know how the world works. They just don't know where anything comes from. They live in northern New Jersey or Connecticut and they go to Costco. They don't know where anything comes from. I think there'll be a big movement for a lot of people in Boston. And, if the stock market goes down 30%, I don't know what happens to real estate in New York City. People are going to say, fuck it. We're moving to like Minneapolis, Minnesota. We're going to go buy a farm. And there's no infrastructure to invest that way. Let me just walk you through this. I'll try to keep this to a half an hour. Coming out of the Depression, they created the public world of stocks and bonds and mutual funds, which you commonly know as like your IRA, your 401k, Merrill Lynch, and all that. Then they created all this private equity stuff with the Investment Company Act of 1940, which said over here, everything has to be above board. And then over here, the rich people, accredited investors, are allowed to do what's called private equity. Real estate is a form of private equity. Venture capital is a form of private equity. And it's weird. The thing we say called private equity is also, of course, a thing called private equity. Well, tokenization in the Jobs Act of 2012 makes this murky now. And I don't know anybody else on the internet that talks about it other than me. In 5 years, it will become obvious that go look at I'd love to pull this little rabbit out of a hat. Go look at ARLP. It's this coal stock that I just love to make fun of because it's like 5 years ago when I started doing this, if you would have told somebody the best stock to invest in is going to be an Appalachian coal company, everybody would say you're completely insane. Go look at it. ARLP. I think the yield is still over 8%. It's at 11 times earnings, and it's at an all-time high. The market is showing you where we're headed. We're headed into, whether you want to call it hard assets, real world assets. We have all this jargon in finance. You're going to go from a world where everybody sits around and talks about their return on capital to a return of capital. And you're going to think about how I get a return of capital because there has to be some asset, something underneath it, not something made up in Sam Altman's brain. No one's going to care about Sam Altman in a couple of years. Leaves of Grass. The reason I like that title, like all the great American literature was written around the Civil War, before and after. And the Leaves of Grass thing is like we live in this unbelievably wealthy continent. Nobody talks about it. Like as Trump was being elected, Americans were sitting around talking about the price of eggs. And can you imagine if the founding fathers knew that Americans were worried about the price of eggs in North America or the price of beef. The cattle herd just keeps going down. Well, there's reasons for that. There's blah, 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 blah. Well, it's down 13.5% since COVID. And the price of beef keeps going up. And the price of fertilizer just went up 60%. It's because the finances are all fucked up. We haven't invested in the right stuff. We've invested in war. We've invested in murdering Muslims for 25 years. And now we're going to be driven out of the Middle East. It's just like Gone with the Wind. Like, they're going to burn down Atlanta. Here we go. They're going to burn down the Middle East. They're going to burn it down. I mean, it sort of is burning down. But this is a participatory thing here, Bruno. This isn't just, I do like to hear myself talk. There's no question about that. But it's all been built for you. We never did a coin offering. We did like, I don't know. Somebody sent me $1,000 worth of Ethereum. We sent them a token just to see if we knew what we were doing. We've never done a coin offering. I've never gone out and pursued any sort of venture capital. I've talked to a few high net worth people. They always like fade away because they're caught up in like Mark Cuban bullshit. And but here it is. We're trying to get the first 5,000 through. We want to give away like an airdrop, like literally give it away so that like it's owned by you. And myTeams is going to coordinate the whole thing. By the way, they do work with Draper, like the big guy. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Well, let's shoot for April 15th. You're going to get emails if you're on here, if you're subscribed, or if you're not subscribed, from somebody at myTeams. I think it'll just be Bruno at myTeams or something like that. And we'll start the process of getting you into the world of Ethereum. You're going to start thinking about it differently. You're going to be like, oh, like Ethereum isn't just like about buying that thing like Bitcoin. No. There's whole new investment things waiting to happen. No one's doing them. Believe me, people, they're doing them on Wall Street. They're just not telling you about it. There's no reason why you can't do it yourself. The second biggest mutual fund company is Vanguard. Who owns it? The shareholders. So I'm down to 4. myTeams, that's the big news for you. We have like people to help now. It's just not me. And then there's some other people around that I've been talking about who will be part of that process. We also just got registered for wealth management in California. Probably do Texas next. Probably do Illinois after that. So it's happening, people. Let's listen to some cool music on the way out. Come on.
The world is a vampire. Turn up your weekend and